Hi, my name is Megan. Thank you for watching. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my video review of the Pattern Emporium Sea Change Jumpsuit. I was super excited about making this jumpsuit. I've shared a number of times throughout various Friday Sews videos leading up to this, and so I hope that the wait was worth it. This is the Sea Change Jumpsuit. It's from a company called Pattern Emporium, which is an Australian pattern design company. And I'm a pretty big fan of Pattern Emporium. I've tried a number of their patterns, but this is the first one that I have made out of a woven fabric. This pattern was released recently in early spring 2021 or late winter, depending on your perspective, and that's of course in the Northern Hemisphere. This is a great jumpsuit pattern for spring, summer, fall, transitional. You can make it short, you can make it 3/4 length or long. I've made the wide strap version in the full length leg for the tall version. So I'm 5'9" for reference. I made this pattern in a size to match my upper bust measurement and then left it from there based on the pattern instructions. So I did follow all of the instructions with the measurement guide except for one, which was I did not measure my crotch length or body length, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So I've made mine out of a just a polyester woven fabric from Fabricland that I bought here in Canada back in February. And I think this is a great project for somebody who's looking to go a little bit beyond knits, likes the idea of something that is sort of trans-seasonal, is getting ready for spring, summer, and is a fan of dresses but wants to maybe try out the jumpsuit trend. So some of the things that I really liked about this pattern is the style of the instructions. So Pattern Emporium instructions are very thorough. She uses a lot of steps. She has photographs and very well written instructions. I liked how easy it was to determine the size that she suggested that I make, though there are a ton of steps and it is quite dense. So I would say that if you're trying to sort of skim quickly, I would recommend you sit down with these instructions and the book and really go through it before you cut out your pattern or trace off your size to figure out exactly what sizes you should make and how to modify them. These instructions also come with some tips at the end about how to modify your garment if after you've put it on, you're not quite happy with some of the fit pieces. And so I thought that was really awesome that it's built right into the instruction guide and it uses this garment in the step-by-step what you should do if you need to adjust the length or the strap length or any of that. So I made the wide strap version, and I did like that there were two versions, a narrow strap or a wide strap. There's also an adjustable length. You can do a little loop. You could use a lace trim. There's lots of options to sort of make it your own. It is nice to have a wider strap option to cover your bra strap if you prefer. I definitely do. So I saw this jumpsuit modeled by Kristen of the Dahlia Society, and she wore it over a t-shirt, and I think that I would have looked past this pattern completely. I am part of the Pattern Emporium Facebook group, and I did see some of the preliminary sketches and the teaser photos, and was kind of like, that's not for me. And then on Kristen, who has a reasonably similar figure to me. I'm a little bit wider in the hip than she is, and I think I'm taller than she is, but she had it on with a t-shirt underneath, and I thought, like, that is so cute, and it is a way to have a little bit more coverage up top. I thought that it is a super hackable pattern, so you could do lots of different things with this. You could turn it into a dress, you could turn it into there's lots of like bubble harem option, which I thought was really cute. I'm not sure I'd ever wear it, like, it's not super practical, but I think there's lots that you could do. It's pretty easy to adjust too. You can change where the straps are, where the tie is, where the straps are. I made a mistake when I put mine together, and I think I will go back and fix it, but I sewed the strap or the tie, the sash that goes around the waist, into the front center seam instead of the side seams, so it does pull a little bit funny sort of on that inseam. But I also think like that kind of gives you that wrap around, and I think it's pretty cute. But there's also two options for the back facing. So there is a closed back facing option and there's an open back facing option, and the instructions give you a pretty good sense of which one you should pick depending on how many sizes you need to grade between. If you were making this with the closed back facing, it's super fast. Like, I think you could put this together in a snap. I did it with the open back facing, so a few extra steps, and I did that because My hip was 2 sizes larger than my bust, and the instructions said I could choose either or. I do think like I'm a little bit softer fleshy in the hip and seat area, and so I could probably squeeze into it, but I didn't want to risk it and pop a seam and all the hassle of that. So I'm glad I made it with the open back facing. It does, it does come open quite a bit, like quite low. It does cover my bra, but the open back is quite low. And so if you're looking for modesty, you may want to sort of do an additional hook and eye or an additional button. I used a hook and eye instead of a button on the back facing, and that was quick, and I think it looks great. I would recommend, if you're going to make this garment, to really thoroughly read the instructions, particularly the tips on sizing. So like I said, I did make it according to my size and measurements. I didn't do one thing though. So I think in the instructions further along, it suggested that you measure sort of your crotch length or your body length to figure out whether you needed to add length to the body of the garment. I didn't add length to the leg, and quite often when I do have to add an adjustment to a dress, or I haven't made a ton of pants, but I won't add length to a top that sort of hits high hip or above. If I'm making a dress, I often will add length just to the hem. And so I skimmed over that. In fact, frankly, I missed it completely. Put the jumpsuit on after I had made it, and it was too short in the body, so it was riding up in the crotch and the back. It looked okay, but it was not comfortable. So I followed the instructions to make the adjustment that were in the pattern, which meant sort of like I scooped out that front back seam with the crotch, cut it down by about 2 centimeters, and now it fits great. So I'm quite happy with it. I also think where I've attached my tie, because it's in the front center seam, it does pull up there. But I'm going to move the ties back to the side seams where they're supposed to be and anchor them in there. I think that will let the front hang just a little bit better, and it will be a more comfortable garment. But I am quite happy with it. I was worried that it would ride up and shift around as I moved, but it does give me that sort of like drapey, flowy, looks like a dress but not a dress. Just a fun jumpsuit. So I think that it's worth a shot. I'm quite pleased with the pattern, and it is the type of garment that I think I'll get a lot of wear out of. The polyester that I used in the hot weather, it's not going to be super comfortable. It doesn't breathe, but I do work in a cool office, so I think it would be perfect for that, where you might want to throw on a cardigan or a jean jacket in the office but still look super summery. So I am pleased. I think I'm going to try to find a white t-shirt, and maybe one that's in this sort of like blue color to wear underneath it. I think would be really cute for a pop of color. But again, this fabric I think was $6 a meter, and I used probably about 3.5 meters maybe. And so not that I sew because it saves any money, because it certainly doesn't, but this was like an economical experiment for me, and I am thrilled. So some of the things that I thought could maybe be improved, as you may know, or if you're watching this long after I post, you might not know, my serger is currently in for repair, and so I constructed this garment entirely on my sewing machine. I should have probably French seamed the outside seams and where I could have, but I wasn't sure of the fit, and I wanted to give myself the opportunity to let out or draw in the seam allowance as necessary. And so I didn't. I just straight stitched it, and then I zigzagged my seam allowances. And I think this is going to fray, but that's okay. If I need to, I can always go back and overlock the seams a little bit. It does give you instructions throughout to use your overlocker or serger. And of course you can do your seam finishes however you want. You absolutely could French seam this garment throughout most of it, I think. Where I got stuck a little bit, and it would certainly be much neater if I had used my serger, was to finish the edges of the facings. They're sort of, you fuse the interfacing on, and then you serge around the bottom edge of the facing. So there's facing on the front and the back. And I zigzagged, and it's not as neat as I would like it to be. I think there would have probably been an alternate way to adhere that interfacing so that I finished the bottom edge of the facing, but didn't think about it while I was doing it. And so that bit, I'm not thrilled with my workmanship there. And also the instructions, like, it is very clear, use your overlocker. And so I was a little bit stumped about, if the zigzag isn't giving me what I want, what should I do instead? If you've ever made the Ogden cami, it has a similar neckline, but the facings on the Ogden come down to almost like below the bust, almost like a lining. It's not a shelf bra, but it's longer. And I think that you could do that with this garment if you wanted to wear it braless and you wanted a little bit more coverage, like if you were making a shorts version, or I mean, I don't know, maybe I prefer to wear a bra, but if you prefer to go braless, that is an option. I think you could lengthen the facing, and then you could hem the facing, and that would solve the problem, particularly if you're making the closed back. If you're making an open back, I'm not sure how that would work. Otherwise, it was a really easy garment to fit because it's so easy and breezy. I'm not sure I would ever wear this without the tie. I like a waist definition, but there are some tester photos that are just gorgeous and like a nice linen. I think that if I made this again, I probably would go up a size in the hip just to give a little bit more swish. Like, it's nice and swishy, but I do think I would like a little bit more ease there. And if I was making it out of a linen or a cotton voile or something, you know, like a lawn, I would want a little bit more room so that I had a little bit more ease. Otherwise, the fit is as described. It fits me well throughout. The upper bust, the armholes don't gape. The straps, you adjust the length of your straps when you sew them in, and so there was lots to work with. I got it what I think is just right. I would be comfortable wearing this without a shirt underneath, and I think in the summertime I probably would if I was going out to meet friends or going out with my husband or something. Absolutely would be comfortable wearing it. I don't feel like it gapes in the armhole, which was a concern of mine. I wasn't sure whether I would be able to whether it would offer enough coverage, and I think that it does. It's long enough for me, so like I mentioned, I'm 5'9". I made the tall length. I didn't adjust the hem at all. I did hem it with a 5/8 hem. So the length as hemmed gives me enough room to wear a high heel, which I do appreciate. I think if I was planning to wear this with just a sneaker, I would probably take the hem up more. I am interested in the 3/4 length. I think it's a cute dress alternative, and I don't know if I need 2 jumpsuits in my wardrobe, but if I came across a fabric that I thought really called for this pattern and they would be a good match, I think I would make it in a 3/4 length. I'm not interested in the shorts just because I don't wear shorts romper, but maybe if I go on vacation someday. Anyway, I think that the Pattern Emporium Sea Change Jumpsuit is fun. It's different than anything I own while still being within the style that I like. It's feminine, it's floaty, it's, you know, it's not sporty, but it's also not frilly. And I think that it is what I want to wear right now, and I do feel great in it. If you have any questions for me about this garment, leave me a comment down below. If you have any questions about the sizes that I made, I'll include them in the box. This is going to look really cute when we go back outside and I'm, you know, going for ice cream with my kids. I can get up onto the playground and not worry about the wind blowing my skirt around, which is a huge plus for me. And I felt really comfortable and really confident sewing this garment and then wearing it. And I think that is what I am chasing right now. So I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon.